At this hour, I'm Christina Aguayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. The top federal prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. has resigned after being asked to investigate a government contract awarded during Joe Biden's administration and put a freeze on the assets. Denise Chong, the former criminal chief of the DOJ's criminal division, turned in her resignation letter after the request. This as Jim Jones, the head of the FDA Food Division, decided to call it quits as well after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. took over as Secretary of Health and Human Services, promising to make America healthy again. DOGE has discovered that $4.7 trillion in Treasury payments are almost impossible to trace because a key identification code that links a Treasury payment to a budget line item was optional and in most cases missing. DOGE said the identification payment code, called TAS for Treasury Access Symbol, is now required. That way we can see where money is actually going. DOGE posted on X, "Thanks to U.S. Treasury for the great work." The absence of the code was discovered during a DOGE audit of the Treasury Department to find and cut waste, fraud, and abuse. Democrats opposed the audit, and 14 attorneys general sued to block DOGE from accessing the data. That's what you need to know at this hour. In Dallas, Christina Aguayo, Salem News Channel. 13 illegal migrants were arrested in Salt Lake City, Utah, as part of Trump's mass deportation operation. 4 members of the violent Venezuelan gang, Pentagon, were part of the group. All of them are in custody and going through the deportation process and will be removed from the U.S. Meanwhile, a group of illegal migrants are being flown from Seattle as part of the process to send them back to their home countries. According to ICE, illegal migrants are held at different detention facilities throughout the nation, then loaded up and flown to different locations worldwide. According to Tom Homeland, interior arrests by ICE have increased by almost 140%. Arrests of illegals with criminal convictions have doubled, as well as arrests of illegal migrant gang members since President Donald Trump took office. U.S. Judge Tanya Chutkan has ruled against 14 attorneys general from Democrat states who sued to block Elon Musk and DOGE from accessing the data systems for 7 different federal agencies, including the U.S. Treasury. The federal judge saying that the states failed to provide evidence beyond mere speculation that Elon Musk and DOGE would cause irreparable harm with their investigations. The decision by the Obama-appointed judge is an early blow to Democrats who continue to try to block Musk and DOGE from cutting waste, fraud, and abuse out of the federal government. Joe Biden's hasty and deadly Afghanistan withdrawal will be investigated by a group of people handpicked by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, according to a report. Secretary Hegseth saying, "We've already identified folks that'll be in charge of that full investigation inside the Pentagon." The timeline for the investigation has not been set yet, but Secretary Hegseth said even though he doesn't want to wait much longer, he wants to get it right. Back in 2021, the Biden administration launched the chaotic withdrawal of U.S. troops and embassy officials from Afghanistan that resulted in the deaths of 13 U.S. service members. Hundreds of Americans were left behind, along with more than $7 billion in military equipment. According to recently released data from CBP, just over 61,000 illegal migrants were apprehended at the southern border during the entire month of January. In each of the last 3 Januaries under Joe Biden, between 154,000 and 157,000 illegal migrants crossed the border. It's also a 36% decline from December, which saw 96,000 illegal migrants. Biden often saw more than 200,000 illegal migrants cross the border each month during his first 4 years in office. In the 10 days directly following President Donald Trump's inauguration, border apprehensions dropped by 85% and by 93% at ports of entry. Many are now pointing to simple policy changes for the record-setting decrease, such as re-implementing the Remain in Mexico policy, taking away the incentives like free health care, food, and travel for illegal migrants, and informing migrants they will be arrested and deported if they cross into the country illegally. Rollins, the Secretary of Department of Agriculture, is saying that the Trump administration is looking into ways to stop China from purchasing American farmland, according to a report. Rollins saying that the Trump administration knows people are concerned about China buying land that should be owned by Americans, and it gave the president credit for bringing up the threat of the Chinese Communist Party on the world stage over the last 10 years. Rollins saying that President Trump is looking into ways to ban China from buying land at the federal level. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Christina, is sending a strong message to illegal migrants that America's borders are closed. And if you're in the country illegally and ICE has to round you up and ship you out, you won't ever be allowed back in. Listen.
Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For too long, weak leadership has left our borders wide open, flooding our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. Well, those days are over. Under President Trump, we are defending American families and restoring their safety. If you try to enter illegally, you will be caught, you will be removed, and you will never return.
That's what you need to know at this hour. In Dallas, Christina, Aguayo, Salem News Channel.